What's up, everybody, and welcome to One Man's Opinion. Now, this will be the first video where I talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with pop culture or entertainment or something like that. I'm not going to sit here and talk about this too long because I don't think there's a whole lot of new light I can shed on the subject. A lot of people are covering this right now, and I don't have any groundbreaking thoughts or opinions on it. I just wanted to say my piece and kind of give my reaction to the whole thing. And so today we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and he's innocent. And there are a few things that I wanted to say about this. Number one, hats off to this kid. The things that have been said about this kid, the way that he has been portrayed as this monster, this killer, this murderer, this horrible person. To be 17 years old and have to take two lives and also injure another person, that's horrifying. That's a horrible thing. And no 17-year-old should have to go through that. It's really astounding. The whole story is astounding. The first thing I think I want to say is anybody who tries to politicize this and tell you, oh, if you were rooting for Rittenhouse, then you're a Trump supporting Republican, and if you were against Rittenhouse, then you're a BLM loving leftist. Anybody who's trying to politicize this thing is wrong for that. This isn't political. This isn't about left or right. This is about justice. This is about the American justice system, and if it still works, if people still have the right to defend themselves. And thankfully, we do. Thankfully, we still have the right to defend ourselves. I've heard some people say, oh, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Well, the rioters shouldn't have been there in the first place. No one should have been burning down buildings in the first place. None of that should have been going on in the first place. And if you get into this and you look at this kid's story, he was only there to help. There's video evidence. There's pictures of this kid cleaning graffiti off of walls. He and his father worked in this town. They worked there, and he was going to protect businesses. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to go, and I don't remember, and I hope I'm not getting any facts from this case wrong, but I'm pretty sure about most of the stuff I'm talking about here. I believe he was going there to watch over the place where he worked. It may have been the place where his father worked. He just wanted to make sure that it wasn't burned to the ground. And while he was there, he was giving medical attention to people. He was scrubbing off graffiti. He was just trying to clean up. He was trying to legitimately help people. And what happened to him is horrifying. It's scary. All three of these men, convicted felons. Kyle Rittenhouse, a minor, attacked by three grown men. Three grown men attacking a minor, even having a pistol pointed directly at his head. I have no doubts in my mind that he didn't have an angel on his shoulder that day. There is no chance to have three grown men chasing him down, attacking him, armed grown men, and for him to come out alive. That's amazing. It's incredible. In this country, we ought to have a right to defend ourselves. We ought to have a right to defend our loved ones, and we ought to have a right to defend our property. If it's yours, if you own it, then you ought to have a right to defend it, whether that's your life, your family, or your property. And thankfully, we found out today that a jury of his peers said, oh yeah, he's innocent. It's huge. It's huge. Like I said, I don't have just a whole lot of things to say about this, but I think I'm most excited to know that it wasn't just a judge who banged the gavel. It was a jury of his peers. It was Americans who stood by Rittenhouse and said, we should be able to defend ourselves. We should be able to defend our property. And I hope it's a message. I really do. I hope it's a message to would-be rioters that the American justice system stands behind American citizens who defend themselves. Not going out and hunting people, not looking to cause violence. Let's keep that in mind. Kyle Rittenhouse was not there looking for violence. He was there to help people. And that's what we all should be doing, is helping each other in whatever way that we can. But if violence finds you, then you ought to be allowed to defend yourself. And that's what happened to Kyle. He was there for noble reasons. A young man just trying to help out his community, just trying to help out the place where he worked, in a time when the city was literally on fire. Police not allowed to do their job, not doing their jobs. It shouldn't have had to have been a 17-year-old. It shouldn't have had to have been. But instead, we stood by and we watched. We watched these riots. We watched this destruction. Someone was going to step up. Someone was going to fill the gap. Kyle Rittenhouse was that guy. He was just trying to help people. Violence found Kyle Rittenhouse, and he defended himself. And that is something we all should be thankful that our justice system allows. This case was big. It was either allow criminals to do what they want, and if violence finds you, you better hope you're faster than they are, or go out, help your neighbor, and if someone doesn't like that and they get violent, defend yourself. Those were the two options in this case. And again, thankfully, we find ourselves today with a verdict that says, America, you can still defend yourself. Not go out and look for trouble. You cannot go out and look for violence. You cannot search out violence. That will not be allowed. In this case, thankfully, today, you can still defend yourself if violence finds you. And I think that that's huge. I think that's an awesome thing. And I hope people don't make this about race. I don't know how they could, but it all started with race. It all started with the death of George Floyd and the police. That's where all of this started, the rioting, and that led to Rittenhouse. I hope that there's healing over this. I hope that more violence doesn't find us as a result. If you're trying to politicize this, you need to think again. You need to think about what you would want for your child, what you would want for yourself, what you would want for someone that you love. You need to think about what's right and what's wrong. And you need to think about if you were in that situation, what would you have done? If you went out into your city, into your town, with nothing but good intentions, truly, honestly, it's all there in video, and violence found you, what would you want? What would your response be? That's why this is so big. It's not political. I don't care what the news tries to tell you. We know now the young man was innocent. If you didn't know it before, if you thought it before the trial, now legally, we know Rittenhouse is innocent. This is not political. This is what American justice looks like. It's what it should look like. Thankfully, it's still what it looks like. God bless y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Leave some comments down below. Thumbs up if you agree. If you disagree, go ahead and leave that thumbs down. Leave a comment if you want to. That's fine with me. Just don't get mad about it. Remember, this is all just one man's opinion. Thanks.